Now let's take a look at the whole model inside of RealityLINx. We'll go to the asset tree here under Plant Model and expand it. We can see we have a model in QA here, demonstration model. We can see here that we can open the tree here, and we can see there's several levels here: civil, electrical, equipment, instrumentation, and so on. Let's go ahead and turn those on. And here is the model inside of RealityLINx. This came from the point set that we saw earlier, and from the macro asset modeling functions that made the stairway here, and the top handrails, and all the side rails, and the piping, and so on. We can view the model in several ways. First, just by area. So if I just turn off these sections here, we can just see the civil or electrical here, or the equipment, instrumentation. There's not very much there. Miscellaneous, the piping, or just the structural. And then we can turn them all on. Okay. You can select any item here, and you can see it shows up in the asset tree. If you pick another location here, you can see here this area is the dish on top of the tank. It's the tank itself, made up of these assets here. You can also bring up the properties area, and it'll give you the properties for the asset that you're looking at and selected. It's also another way to query the model. You can do a search, quick search. And I've added some criteria here. By attribute, I'm going to look for all elbows greater than 10 millimeters or all straights greater than 10 millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and search. And it brings up the items that I've requested, straights and elbows. I can then view those assets in a new display window. And here we have just the search that I asked for. The elbows and piping over 10 millimeters. You can search for nominal diameter, size, attribute, catalog item. The search is quite varied and very flexible. I can also generate an asset report with the following attributes. You can either click them on or off. I can just turn these two on here, generate report. So it'll generate an asset report on these pipes and elbows that I have up here. And you can see here's a full asset report on all of the assets that I have currently viewed. You can adjust the properties of any of the assets simply by clicking Edit. And you can go ahead and just edit any of the properties in the item. You can also export this into a comma delimited Excel file. So it's quite flexible and quite nice, the search criteria area window here. You can shut this and then go back to the main window. The tree here shows all of your assets again, very well laid out. For equipment, there's subs, there's pumps. You can turn on an individual pump area. You can shut this off, shut off the vessels, and whatnot. And you can just leave on a certain area like this pump here. And then you can query individual items within this pump. You can see it's made up of these assets here. You can pick this area, and the tree opens and showing you, you're looking at this cylinder, which makes up this pump, or this area here, the structural civil area under the pump. When you create your model, you have a wide flexibility in what disciplines that you'll actually be creating. As an example, you can just create another discipline. Here I've just created this one here, and I can rename that and then call it Civil 2 as an example. And then under that, you can create anything you like. You can create some equipment, the structure, ducting, whatever. You can create a structure under there, and then a substructure, and then under that are all the different assets that would go into that substructure. I mean, it's a foundation that you want to create here. You can just create a foundation. It just inserted in the last place that I selected. Or you can create a generic asset, I-beams, platforms, T-brace, ANSI steel. It's all very well laid out and organized. So in the end, you can organize your project into these categories, which then is fully supported when you export the model out to any of the piping programs that are supported by RealityLINx. Turn this on here. Turn that on. Turn this structural on here. See that there. And so underneath equipment, just turn on the vessels and exchanges. There we go. So after the model is complete, you can export out to the other CAD packages that are available. Export out to CAD. We have a PDMS exporter, an AutoCAD exporter, and a PCF exporter. So you can just pick PDMS, and this is the export wizard. It'll ask you what you want to export. You can export also the knowledge views or the asset viewer selection, but for now we can just export the entire model.